As the built environment faces growing ecological challenges, the conversation is shifting from simply building sustainably to understanding how buildings can work with nature rather than against it. In this episode of Friday Frames, expert KS Gopal explores sustainable construction and permaculture, offering insights into more responsible and regenerative ways of building.
And welcome Mr. K.S. Gopal, Director, Center for Environment Concerns, CEC, and Mr. Narasana Kopulo. With over 40 years of rural development experience, K.S. Gopal has taught at institutions like the Administrative Staff College of India, University of York, and Tata Institute of Social Sciences. He has presented globally and brings an immense expertise in sustainable construction. And he is going to be talking and discussing with us about permaculture. But he will also be joined in by Mr. Narasana Kopulu, CEO of Aranya Agricultural Alternatives. He is a certified permaculturalist from the Permacultural International Institute, Australia, with a dedicated experience of 25 plus years towards sustainable agriculture. As the founding member of the Permaculture Association of India, he's led initiatives like the tree-based farming systems for tribal communities and many more. We have two practices here, Studio Kolam as well as Studio Sad. Studio Kolam has their practice set in Konkan and Studio Sad has an agroforestry project in Rajasthan. Two very distinct locations with respect to the natural resources and the ecosystems. And this session is curated to help them work on their projects, which will be through the individual sessions and one-on-one discussions and deliberations. But with this, we would request Mr. K.S. Gopal to please take the screen and begin the session.
Yeah, I will take the screen. Yeah. How do you take the screen?
You have to click on the green share screen button.
Screen. నా ఫేస్ కనుక తర్వాత ఇదొద్దు ఇదేనా పెద్ద Yeah. Can I start?
Sir, we're not yet seeing your screen. You've not shared the full screen. You only shared the folder.
Full screen share. 1 minute.
Share the entire screen, then we'll be able to see it.
How does one do that? How does one do this?
So you click on the green share icon and then you will see.
Okay, now you can see. Now?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
So at the bottom of, yes, something's coming up. Yes, yes, perfect. Now we can see it. If you can go on full screen mode, then we'll see it in full. It was stopped.
Yeah. Is it okay?
No, it was stopped. It was okay earlier. It got stopped.
Presentation don't share now, later. This is, can you see me now? Can I start?
Yes,
okay,
we can see you.
Sorry, thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Narsana is already also in. He will come in. Oh, Narsana and Padma, they together are doing permaculture. Narsana, I'll just talk for about 5-6 minutes. Then you will talk about permaculture, you and Padma, right? Let me tell you that today I found in the Mint what is mentoring. And this is what a person who got mentored by Tata, Ratan Tata said, to mentor is to empower others to realize their full potential and offer them the guidance they need to reach. I hope Narsana and I and Padma will be able to deliver on that. We are not used to it, that's why I have to tell you. Let me start by saying that I have also worked in the rural areas on housing. And I learn a lot from people, especially women, because I think ecology and women have a much more intimate link than elsewhere. When I was doing this weaker section housing for a government program at 5,840 rupees in 1983, the women wanted an increase in their wage. I found that it was not possible because the budget was very tight. But it haunted me that I came to help people, but actually end up saying excuses to them. So Narsana was also at that time in my team. Then I went back to the women and started talking. They tell you things in an anecdotal way, but because you're all talking about design, I wanted to bring this to your attention. What I learned from them is this: the design decides the structure decides the material decides which is the labor that you're going to use. So it's very important that we keep which side of society do we want to serve in mind, right? When we are talking about it, right? That's my first thing. 2-3 points I want to just tell you. Biodiversity, we all think is only about plants. It is not. Every aspect has biodiversity. Microorganisms, they also have to be native. Bacteria, fungi, nematodes, everything. So I think we must have a wider canvas in understanding what we mean by biodiversity and got caught with it. Because, there is so much of mainstream thoughts that need to be. For instance, I'm not going against what Mayank said, but let me give you one thinking. Mayank sir, in my view, what is the logic, science of drip irrigation, which everybody claims is the state of the art? Drip works on the logic of field capacity to wilting point, which means that you totally wet the soil, which means no biologicals can survive in the soil. And then you go for drying it, which means no biologicals can exist. It is a very good regime for chemicals. So irrigation actually is a tool to mainstream petrochemicals. So unless we don't understand that dimension of development, we will tend to be thinking, and I think we should open up the minds of young people to be more thoughtful about it. So therefore, biodiversity has to be looked at much more, even the native. Today, microorganisms are being multiplied at lab level and put. Do you know earthworms, which are native, move vertically, which means they till the soil? The ones which are industrially bred are all moving horizontal. They scavenge. So I think these are finite points that students of architecture should think about. The next point I want to say is water is something which is measured, but moisture, which is the real element for either biologicals or for plant, does not come into our radar screen. I think we have to change the lingua franca from water to moisture, because moisture is a biological regime, water is a chemical regime. I think these are all important things that need to be. So this ultimately, finally, a lot of what we do does not lend itself for such very clear scientific measurement, because it is biology, it is not physics. Please understand that in biology, we are talking with life and nature, whereas all the others, whether it is stone or wall, we are just talking about inanimate things. So I think if that backdrop is understood, then you will be able to listen to Narsana, and then we'll join. Thank you. Narsana, Padma, go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. We welcome you to the screen, Narsana and Padma.
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. This is Narsana Coppola. Yeah, as my for Gopal is a Tata maybe mentor, but my mentor is Gopal and Dr. Venkat. So they are the persons who brought me and shown a lot of the world which is really looking for. I think this is one of the
This is
permaculture.
Dr. Venkata Vemuri Rangarao.
Pardon?
Is this Dr. Venkata Vemuri Rangarao?
Yeah.
We just hosted him about a week back, and he was talking about structures and natures. It's such a nice thing.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, he's my mentor, my guru, and my first mentor who got into this permaculture way of life the Gopal
We
is
had, we
here
had
in India.
hosted him. We
Very
had hosted him recently for a workshop on structures.
Yes.
Just a few days ago. So it's a pleasant surprise that.
yeah. Which Venkat? I'm a little. The Venkat is passed away in 2011. I think the
Oh,
Dr.
Oh, so then
Venkat.
obviously
I
not.
think
That's
he's
Sonam.
a
Yeah, that's why I wanted to check. Yeah.
yeah. No.
So it's not the same
Anyway,
person.
yeah, great.
Just
I
to
think that
supplement what,
yeah, this is a perma.
just to supplement, okay. Just to supplement what Narsana said, I
Go ahead.
picked Venkat. He was a medical professional, right? The reason I thought he's very good for permaculture, which I introduced in 1984 with Bill Mollison, was because he was the only person in Hyderabad who would cycle and collect foliage, leaf litter from all the streets to put it into his garden. Because mulch is the fundamental philosophy in permaculture. Go ahead.
So for me, as a permaculture, maybe new word for many people, but it's not a new word. It's a permanent agriculture. Otherwise, I'm not much with agriculture. In the permaculture, we look for the more permanent cultures rather than agriculture. I think the permaculture is a response and the way of life based on the cooperative and non-exploitative relationship with biosphere and as a part of it. But what does it permaculture? I think what does it for? I think is it really for the agriculture related or any other thing? I think for me, the permaculture is not related to only agriculture. I think the permaculture is a way of life. When I say way of life, it is applicable to number of areas, number of the background. So it's not just only for agriculture. If that is true, I think is the permaculture is talks about more natural way of thinking. I think most of the things which we are every day, I think we use and we throw, we multiply, we I think we can progress, and your lot of things are there. I think in coming to this picture, entire this, I think first of all, whom you want to, this totally the concept has just now when Dr. Gopal was talking about, I think is a design centric. But in the design centric, most of the things are human centric things. How you design it. I think who are you to design the nature first of all? I think the design. Most of the people that talk about the design centric, it means I think the whom you're designing for what, for whom. These are very basic fundamental questions. I think the design is, I think, first of all, I would say design is first of all our way of thinking, our mindset. You design first of all your mindset. What kind of life you want to live? What kind of system you wanted? What kind of way of profession, occupation you want to? I think that's the order. If you hierarchy, if you look at the mindset and your way of thinking, and next is your coming to your profession or your what is the relationship the human? I think what is the human relationship with? What is your relationship with the nature? This kind of design is needed. I think design is little not just what does the design come from? I think it's a natural patterns. Patterns are the basis for your design. If you don't understand, you don't work with nature, I think you should not get the design. I think this is permaculture is an art. That's what just previous my speaker was talking about architecture. I think what are the designs you are using to your system is so sustainable or permanence. More the sustainable. I love to use the word is permanence rather than sustainable. I think how you do think is very, very important. I think coming to the design centric, I design my life how I want to live, whether ethically or unethically or just exploitative or non-exploitative. That's way of life. I think what kind of deal, what kind of things, what kind of tools, what kind of materials you wanted. I think natural thinking, natural materials. I think these are some of the things we have to sort it out. Then you look for hardly your personal life and your relation with the community and the humanity and what kind of profession you want, how want you think about, and then you're coming to the design your house. I think our previous speaker spoke very well about the dimensions, the light and the sun path. All those are very, very important, which means he is trying to observe the entire nature. How does it working? Based on that, he started his architecture. I think that's very, very important. I think, but the coming to the house is one of the, everybody has a house. I think how you design your house for what? Only for stay, or you wanted to make it more productive? What kind of product you want? Not in the permaculture, a lot of principles. Obtain yield. Obtain yield is not only production concept. The product, the kind of comfort, the kind of the cool, the climate, the kind of happiness, the joining, the joyness in the house. I think that is my yield. How you get that yield? Because of your design, your house, not just the comfort, just comfort for whom again. I think these are all matters that is only possible through your way of thinking. The permaculture way of thinking is very, very required, very, very needed. I think that is a house. I think my last resort would be my land. Most of the time I talk about my students. I do conduct every day, every month a PDC. About average 25 students will come, national, international. I think they come with the designing their lands. I think out of 25 students, every time only 2-3 people will be land holders. Rest of them are landless. How permaculture is a global concept. How you apply that? I think it apply to the only landholders. What about the landless in this country, in the world? I think not even 60% of people are landless. How you apply these permaculture principles and ethics to your those people? I think that's the biggest challenge. I think don't think always the permaculture is the only design centric. Design not for land, for the life, for the houses, for the kind of structure, what kind of structures you wanted, social structure, environmental structure, and your ecological structure. How you want, what is the benefit of how you want to work with, not against. So this is a very, very fundamental and basic thing. So we look at always we think about most of the time the people. The social structure is totally inequality. If you don't proper understanding your nature, I think you never understand proper nature, you do wrong thing. I think you have to do always thoughtful job, not thoughtless job. That is the source of your information. Your yield could be your nature. I think you go in forest, you think how the kind of diversity, how the diversity in the society, the diversity in the nature also, how you can mimic those things. The natural thing is mimicking is one of the very, very greatest asset in the permaculture. I think that mimicking is very, very important, so that when you understand properly, you do justice to the things what you wanted to do in future. I think that is lacking in most of our education. I think there's a simple thing I'll talk about. The diversity is your towns and cities and villages and hamlets. I think there's a lot of the hierarchy wise, if you do everywhere people are there. How do you apply this? I think the permaculture concept is a global, but you have to use the ethics and principles go to global level. When you come to the strategies and your techniques to be locally and site specific, that is the crux of entire your permaculture. That's what many people misunderstood, that permaculture is a design stage. This is design centric. But in my teachings, in my life, I am applying those principles at every level, in social structure, economical, ecological, environmental, coming to your financial, everywhere you apply this. I think your job is easy to look at the clear picture. What lens you are using through what lens you want to see that world. I think that is important. This is one of the very, very important, very exciting in the permaculture way of life is definitely you will feel, enjoy, and what you are looking for exactly. I think the coming to the very, very precious elements on this planet Earth is definitely water, plants, and the soil, and the energy. What you are looking for through these systems, what you are looking for, not land. Land, everybody don't have land, but they have to live on this planet Earth very comfortably without much harming to the natural resources. I think this is a sustainability not normally. I think we have to look for the more resilient sustainable word is. I think it is now. I think it's more outdated. I think permanence is a strong word. I think the resilient system we are looking for, the resilient thinking also needed. This is one of the source of alternative to the life, the way of life, the alternative way of life, the permaculture. I'm not saying permaculture is everything. This is another alternative of your way of thinking and your alternative way of thinking. So in this, we will deal, one of the things that are very, very important, the rainwater. Already, Gopal sir already tried to explain even our architecture, talking about the every drop of water, very, very precious. How you harvest that water. Cities, in the rooftop rainwater harvesting. In the rural area, in the lands, how you water it. In the cities, how do you want drainage system? Lot of sewages, how you want to treat them. The grey water and black water and green water and rainwater. These are one of the very, very important waters which is there. How you deal with what water. I think the water is very precious. Every time I talk about you plant water, then you plant a tree. Without plant water, you cannot plant a tree. I think that is most of our totally it is neglected factor of the water. I think planting water is very, very important. That's what I do that. I think the most of the urban people, urban spaces, small places, how you make it productive. You want to, your way of thinking should be horizontal and vertical, not or always the vertical doesn't work. Your horizontal also very important. At the same time, vertical also very important. In a small spaces, how making your life is so productive. I think how you want to your relationship with the plants, soil, and water. I think these are all very, very important aspects to look at. And then coming to the grey water and black water and how much grey water we are misusing. I think we are abusing. How much can we use it? The rainwater, even rainwater in the cities, what are the rainwater we catch and store? I think how much water store, how much water you catch. That is the equation you have to look at. Whether is your water audited needed, how much water you are getting rainfall, how much you are receiving from the rain, and how much you are holding, how much you are using. I think how much you are abusing, how much you are not using. I think this is the water audited needed as far as the permaculture concept is concerned. I think the waste management. How much waste? I think most of the time we talk about the waste.
That you're sharing with us? Is there a screen, something that you're sharing on the
screen? I'm coming to just. I'm sharing. When just I will go once Padma will do it. Just I'm giving the outlines of what I'm going to show it.
Narsana, you are running out of time. Another 5 minutes.
Just I will 5 minutes. The water
These
water
and
the
very
compost and soil.
not like you and me.
Yeah, the soil and compost and soil and alternative energies. These are very, very important aspects to look into permaculture. I think some of the examples, some of the photos, some of the work which we are doing, we can go through some of the slides. There's just I'm giving a background to how a permaculture person can think. Yeah.
Yes.
Padma, go ahead quick.
Yes, sir.
We can see your screen, ma'am.
Is it audible now?
Can you do the slideshow mode? Just the full screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm not, some of the slides I'm skipping because of running out of the time. Already Narsana spoke about it. And then, so what are the things which we want to do as a designers? Like we want to live in the planet Earth, like environmental conservation, reforestation, land protection. What is that we want to do? So we want to live with the environment and we want to work with the nature. So we need to consider
You're not audible, Padma.
Sir, I think we lost their connection. If you would like to continue.
All of the things, like we need to talk about the renewable energy, we need to talk about energy, things and art, everything we need to talk about. So like those who want to know more about the permaculture is like, you can just read about it. So it's already Narsana explained. It's a conscious design, maintenance of cultivated ecosystem, which have the diversity, stability, resilience of natural ecosystems. Okay, so this already Narsana told about these things, how we can create the microclimate. Especially I want to explain about as architects, when you're designing something, like when we are talking about the how can we create the microclimates. So how we can create the microclimates, what material are you using, what kinds of plants we are using, what is the natural orientation which you are planning. So which species, annual species or perennial species. So how are you going to store the water? How are you going to manage your soil in front of your garden? Like all these things are the very important to maintain and manage after ecosystem. So these terms and other things we don't need. Like as Narsana said, permaculture ethics are universal. Principles are globally designed tools. You can design and you can, it's a guide how you can design, how you, so there is a permaculture, there is a 3 ethics, there are 12 principles. All these design principles are called design principles. How you are going to apply these principles when you are designing up any of the structure, any of the farm, any of the home, whatever it may be. So how you are going to apply these design principles. So as Narsana said, strategies are bioregional, techniques are local and site specific. So what are the permaculture ethics? Care of earth, provision for all life systems to continue and multiply. So without damaging anything, every life has a right to live on the planet Earth without doing any harm, how are you going to live with the nature? So we have to live and let. That is the principle which we can follow. So it's also energy intensive, not extensive. And also maintain and preserve of all water resources of groundwater, whatever the 4 waters theory, which Nasana said, all kinds of waters we need to plan for it. When you are planning for it, plan for whole site. Then when you are implementing it, partially you can implement. So care of people. If you take care of the earth, so you're also like as a people, we are also part of it. What we need, everything we can access it. So like material needs, non-material needs, what you are talking about. I want people when they're constructing their homes, they say like, I want to have a next to park, I want to have a more oxygen, all other things people will talk about it. So if you are designing of those things, if you can follow the natural resources, if we can follow the ethics and principles of permaculture, all these things are possible. Integrate rather than segregate, and value the people, work and skills. Like when you are doing something, like there are some skills which is lost. When I'm constructing the natural building, so like there's the carpentry work, like there's people in this area, like the skill has got like extended. So how are you going to bring the traditional skills? How are you going to save them? This is something which need to be carried forward for the next generations. Once the skill is extended, we cannot bring back. That's what we need to preserve. We need to continue with that. We need to modify with that. And fair share of the governing of our own needs, setting of resources and future needs. Like I have all the resources, it doesn't mean that you can exhaust all the resources. We have to keep all the resources for now and the future generations also. And always work with the cooperative mode, not with the competitive mode. So these are the 3 ethics which I explained. There are 12 design principles. I just go through it. Observe and interact is one of the best principles which we have. And catch and store energy, obtain yield, apply self-regulation and accept feedback, use value the renewable resources and services, produce no waste, design from patterns to details, integrate rather than segregate, use small, slow solutions, use and value the diversity, use edges, value the marginal, creatively use, respond to change. These are all called 12 design principles. And then, like, this is my farm. I want to explain a little bit more. This is the Aranya Permaculture farm. So, which we designed by following all permaculture principles. Like how we planned is like whatever we learned, permaculture design, we applied everything on the farm design. So we designed in such a way that all 365 days, how the farm will provide food for us. Not only food for ourselves, food for all life systems. And also like it will be needing, it will be our needs and farm needs also meeting in the same system. Like by following the orientations. Like the south side, we have a windbreak. We have a west side, we have a bigger trees. Where the constructions are there, the site is there, use the what material, use the natural materials, and then there's so much of life is there, and there is so many fruit species are there, how we can bring the biodiversity. There are around 450 species are there altogether, but it's all like by following the permaculture principles. It is something like as I said, all 365 days, how we can generate the food. Food for the humans, food for the birds, food for the microbes, food for everything. It's like a self-sustaining, meeting our needs, meeting their own needs. So that's where it's a permanency. Permanent agriculture can continue in the same design. Like observation of what we can observe. Like when you are designing something, wind, sun, water flow, trees, and surroundings. First observe and then start interacting with any other structure or farm or anything before you do anything. Catch and store energy.
Padma, you are exceeding your time. There is one more question which is there.
How much time I have, sir?
Yeah, I think you should just do your closing.
Okay.
Right?
So like that, we can design the farm like this is the small design which I can show, like how entire water can be stored by designing of these things. There is a big slope. I'm just moving, catch and store energy in the farmlands, how we can, when it is a dry land areas where there is no water, how you designed, what is the material which you use. So there are different places, like how we can use the biomass, how we use the solar energy, how we save the different species of seeds, and then obtain a yield of so many for every life, how we can get the food, so how we can design like according to your design, and also working with the different kinds of diversified women's and men, people and community. And also sometimes we may have a lot of desires, but what is the climate change is offering for us, we need to keep it in mind and act upon. And using the local resources and producing new ways, try to give importance to always local resources and renewable services, local seed, local fertilizer, those things. How we are using the grey water systems, how you design from the patterns to details. In the natural patterns, how are you going to mimicking in the designing of things? Like maybe from the forest ecosystem, any ecosystem you can take, those designs, if you can mimicking in our design system, they are more resilient. So natural guilds, how are you going to create? How are you going to, like there's a circular pattern, there's a random pattern, how we can integrate different elements into the systems for more energy, and always start with the small and scale it up, and like that, like in a like a 1 acre place. So how the diversity is giving so much of energy, so much of food. So these are the things which we can have in the permaculture, how you design your life, how you design your systems. So like I also work with the farmers, and the farmers, though they have 100 acres, they don't have food. But people have a 1 acre of the land, because of their design, they could be able to access all kinds of food. It's entire thing is how you design. So what is your objective of it? Thank you for giving me this opportunity.